Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about DC TV and what it will look like under the DCU, under James Gunn and Peter Safran, and will there be any other Elseworld universes like the Arrowverse once again, and could we get a return of the Arrowverse at some point in the future, no matter in what form. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. Okay, so this is not my normal type of video. It's not to do with any news, anything specific to break down, but it's just like a general video where I want to talk to you guys because, as you guys know, I've recently changed the name of my channel from the DC TV show to Ben's Take because I want to expand. I want to talk about other content that's not just DC TV or the DCU, but obviously I want to continue talking. So a big question that's been going on in my mind for a while now, since the CW was changed and Nexstar came in, they started cancelling all the Arrowverse shows, and now we've been left with one final Arrowverse show, and there is barely any DC TV shows out there. There are some that are coming, but they're all coming with the DCU, or they're something completely separate. They're like the Sandman Season 2 or Dead Boy Detective Season 1, and that's pretty much all we got right now. So with that in mind, what does the future hold for DC TV? I want to actually have a conversation about this, and I want to continue this in the comments down below, so please be sure to tell me your thoughts and opinions on all of this. And so I want to ask the question first off, will there ever be any other Elseworld universes like the Arrowverse again in DC, or is it just going to be DCU? Now, obviously, let's talk about DCU first because that's coming first up. So let's talk about what they've got planned. So we got shows like Booster Gold, like Lanterns. Those shows are coming. There is more shows that is being developed behind the scenes, and hopefully if the DCU is successful, if these first couple of shows are successful alongside the films, it definitely relies on the two of them doing well together, then I believe the DCU will be the main source of DC TV content for the foreseeable future. So that's like the next 10 years or something like that, right? So that is a long time of content, and a lot of content can be fit in within 10 years. And so those shows that are going to be kicking off, going to be pivotal, they have to make them great. And I wonder, do you think those DCU shows are going to be like 1 or 2 season shows? Or is it going to be like the Arrowverse where you get to 8, 9 seasons? Well, for me, because they're on the streaming services like HBO Max, and obviously it's now just called Max, that means it's going to be very unlikely to be following the normal CW network TV model of running for as long as possible. The model that Disney follow with their MCU shows, and what DC is probably going to be doing, is they do multiple seasons of, say, shows like Loki, but then they will do just like one show where it's just like a one season done thing like WandaVision. And so will DC be doing that? I think they will. I think you will see shows that only run for one season. I think you'll see some shows like Lanterns that will run for like 2, 3, 4 seasons maybe, but then that'll be like the maximum. I don't see any shows running beyond like season 4 or 5 because it's a lot to put into that show, and I think because they are so focused on building a new universe, they've got to try and create as many TV shows at once, and that means in a year they're not going to be allocating 6 months of every year going back to the same show, making a new season, everything like that. I don't think that model is very sustainable based on them trying to build this universe. They are not trying to be the Arrowverse. They're not trying to create a proper attachment to one singular show. Like, there's fans that are fans of like The Flash, but there were also Arrow fans, there were Supergirl fans, and you know, they all crossed over at one point, right? But for the DC Universe shows, they want everyone to watch every show, but they don't want it to be just like this one show that everyone loves and, you know, the other ones are all shit and they don't follow them. They want them to see, okay, right, I've gone from Lanterns to Peacemaker to Waller, I've gone over to animation with Creature Commandos, and now I'm seeing a universe that is starting to be built. So I think that's exciting in terms of DC TV, that they are building a new universe. So yeah, in the style of the Arrowverse, you could say, yeah, they're probably going to do that if it is successful. Again, it could flop like the DCU, so we'll never know until we actually get like 5+ shows that are out on Max, but I definitely think they're not going to be following the Arrowverse model. You're not going to be seeing shows run beyond like season 4 or 5 at the maximum. That's my belief right now. And so do I think there will be any other Elseworld universes that is not DCU, that is offshoot, kind of like the Arrowverse was the DCU, even though we got the link in Crisis on Infinite Earths with Barry and Barry meeting, you know, DCTV Barry and DCU Barry. So yeah, I think there is always the chance that there are small offshoots. I don't see the Batman universe being too expansive, even though I do see them creating more Batman TV shows. We got the Penguin coming out soon, and that universe is being worked on as being expanded as we currently speak. But that feels more its own thing. It doesn't feel like a big expansive new project. I'm talking like the size of the Arrowverse. Could we ever see an Elseworlds project like that? I'm going to say probably not, guys, because I think the main focus of DC is what they're doing in the DCU. That is what DC Studios was built for, and they're not going to be letting other networks, other streaming services, you know, get their biggest characters and create big universes. So I don't think DC itself would accept that. I think there are creatives out there that would like to tackle certain DC characters that are not within the restraints of what DCU is going to be. So I think my answer is probably not. I don't see a possibility of any sort of like revival of an Arrowverse style universe that is not the main universe that they're focusing on. And so that's how I believe DC TV will change under the DCU, that it will be more contained, it will be working on a show-by-show basis, building up a story, building up to, say, like fighting a dark side in a certain film or a certain big TV show that they're going to be releasing at some point, like 5-10 years down the line. It's all going to be kind of Marvel orientated, and I think that could be a bad thing. To be honest, I like the Arrowverse model. I like getting attached to the characters. I like seeing the show go on for like 8-9 seasons, have 20 episodes. Like, they're never gonna do 20 episodes seasons again. Like, they're not network TV, so they want to create as little content as possible but make it really good quality. And so I believe you're gonna get like 5 to maximum 10 episodes of these different shows. And so now let's talk about the Arrowverse. Is there any possibility of the Arrowverse coming back together at any point in the future? So, well, I'm talking any reunion, so that could be a special crossover show, that could be a special crossover movie, or it could be a documentary kind of like Friends style, with all the actors returning and, you know, coming back for like the 10th anniversary of the end of the Arrowverse, let's say, even though the CW did nothing for the 10th anniversary of the Arrowverse being created with Arrow, so, you know, I guess that's just the CW really. But in terms of, yeah, any chance in the future, I think documentary is definitely a high possibility, probably the highest possibility out of all the different options that I'm going to be listing. Now, I'm not talking about like Arrowverse actors returning in other projects. I think that is actually quite likely. I can see Grant Gustin, Stephen Amell, Melissa Benoist. I can see some of those actors returning for different projects. Now, they won't necessarily be playing the same characters, and I'm saying this is likely because that's what the Arrowverse did, that's what DC is known for. They do respect their legacy actors, and they do bring them back at some point. I mean, even just look at the Flash film, yeah, that's the DCU, but they brought back Michael Keaton's Batman, come on, like, that was huge. And now I think you will see the return of Grant Gustin at some point, maybe playing an older Barry or playing Jay Garrick if he's old enough by that point. But yeah, I think the actors will return, but will we ever see an Arrowverse reunion show that's not a documentary, that's not like the Friends doc? I'm going to say probably very, very unlikely to have any show set within the Arrowverse ever again. I think Superman Lois is the end of all of that. Now, I think it's actually a bit more likely that we could get an Arrowverse crossover movie at some point. Now, this could be like, again, the 10th anniversary of the Arrowverse ending. You could have a big cinema event where, you know, for maybe 5 days or a week, they could be showing this crossover event that is, you know, a big kind of homage to the Arrowverse. Now obviously this is just me putting on my rose tinted glasses being like, yeah, this would be a great idea, I want to see this because I'm the biggest Arrowverse fan, I want to see the return of Melissa's Supergirl, the return of Grant's Flash, and that would be a dream. But I guess the reality is it's probably not likely at all. Like if I were to give you a percentage of an Arrowverse movie happening, probably like less than 2%. So yeah, I guess that's just a bit more than like an Arrowverse show happening, which is like less than 1%, and probably a documentary being about maybe 20%, 25%, I would say. So yeah, that's definitely the more likely option. However, I think an Arrowverse movie would be great at some point down the line, especially if Greg Berlanti were to produce it himself. I think he would be interested in that, and it would be definitely a big deal if that were to ever happen. Like, people would freak out. DC fans and otherwise would definitely be tuning in for that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Let me know, what do you think about all of this? What do you think the future of DC TV holds under the DCU? And do you think there is any chance the Arrowverse could return at any point in the future? Let me know down in the comments below. Again, sorry for the kind of rambly type video, but it's just a topic that I've been thinking about for a while that I wanted to actually make a video on and kind of get your thoughts on it. So let me know, what do you think about all of this? But for now, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.